Hi, I am Monica Brant, one of the world's first true fitness pioneers starting back in 1991. I helped launch the fitness industry while traveling internationally, meeting fans worldwide to share my style of fitness to the bodybuilding community. After a decade of fitness competitions, I earned one of the world's most prestigious titles, the IFBB Fitness Olympia Championships. Moving into the new millennium, I was the first IFBB Fitness Olympia athlete to transition into the new professional figure division and compete for close to another 20 years. After 15 years as an IFBB professional, I tried another organization and won the WBFF World Pro Figure Championships both 2010 and 2013. I am a true athlete and made my way into racing into the Masters USATF sprint events, placing top 3 at the World's Masters track meet in all 3 events, the 100, 200, and 400 meter races. Besides athletics, I have been honored with over 100 magazine covers both nationally and internationally. Since it's always a blessing to share with others, over the last 15 years, I've hosted women's fitness events and worked with the clients, helping them discover how to live radiantly in all areas of life, body, mind, soul, and spirit. The Monica Brant Show is one of the ways I am honoring the legendary athletes, powerhouse individuals, and nutrition gurus that have laid a strong foundation in the past, help keep the current industry flowing, and offer inspiration to the next generations. Woo! Tuesday night, we are live from Westworld, Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm in a new location, and I'm here with some awesome, awesome new lady that I just met. Thanks to my good friend who is my special guest tonight on the Monica Brant Show. I am Monica Brant. I'm your host tonight. Oh, we're live now. Oh, here's my camera. Thanks, Kona. Wow, we've got so many cameras going on here. I don't even know. I'm not used to all the cameras, but super excited here. We've got a great show tonight for you. One of my long time friends and business partners and sponsors. He is one of the most generous men that I know to date in this crazy bodybuilding fitness industry. He is the owner of Egg White International. He's a businessman, entrepreneur. He's a husband of 38 years, which is near and dear to my heart because I love marriage and what it represents. He's a father and a grandfather. So my special guest tonight, no other than McCabe, who is the owner of Egg White International. And sitting next to me tonight, I'm so excited to meet, is an influencer who works with Egg White International as one of the companies that she works for. But she's now going to be a good friend of mine. I just know it. Know it. So I'm sitting next to Lifestyle Jules. Did I say it right? Lifestyle Jules?
Did. Lifestyle Jules.
Lifestyle Jules. Influencer, mother of 3. She's into fitness, fashion, glamour, like all the things. And I'm so excited to meet her. We literally just met maybe 10 minutes ago, like getting these crazy bands to get into Westworld.
It was no joke.
I was like, I'm right here. And she's like, I see you in the roadway. I mean, it's almost like getting into some special event here, and it's just a horse show.
It's special.
It's so special. Hi, Jules.
Hi, thank you so much. I am so glad we got together. And Mac, good job connecting us. That's for sure.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Hi,
I knew
Mac.
you guys would be 2 peas in a pod.
I'm like, we're going to keep talking. Mac, oh, hi.
Mac, who?
Oh, Mac, I'm just, you have been someone in my life that's been a constant for years. And I don't know, it's 10 years or 15 years, but it's a long time. Do you remember when we actually first connected? Because I remember there was a time where you kept, coming over, saying hello, and there was another sponsor that I had that, I was kind of like loyal to, and you kept coming around, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I need to check out Egg White International. And you've been such a constant in my life and such a supporter of everything I've done, from fem camps to body and soul retreats to all of my cover shoots. I mean, just everything that I've done, you've been a huge support and encourager and enthusiast. And every time I talk to you, you're like upbeat. So I don't. Do you remember when we actually first started working together? Because I'm like 15 years. It could be 15 or it could be 16. Do you remember?
It's over 15 years for sure. I know we met at the Olympia the very first time, I think in 2001 or 2002, I think. Don't hold me to that. But I don't think we ever really connected until a couple of years later. And it's just been ongoing ever since. I know it's over 15 years.
I know I keep saying 15 years, and I'm like, I'd like to really know. But, sometimes you don't take note of those special times, and all of a sudden all the years go by and you're like, how long has that been since we've been friends? And I mean, I've known Jules now for 10 minutes, well, maybe 30 minutes now, and I feel like we're like besties almost. Like I'm gonna have her back on my show.
Aw, I love this.
I want to have her come
awesome.
on and do some co-hosting with me. What do you think, Max? Should we have her on back on? Yes. I mean, we haven't even gotten through this show, but I'm like, I think it'd be fun.
Absolutely. She's a shoo-in for sure.
And Mac, I do want you all to notice.
Cluck you.
This is just for you, Mac. Cluck you, COVID-19.
Yep, that's right.
And I know you, I have to say this. You haven't gotten into how amazing Egg Whites International is, but I have to say the apparel is equally as amazing.
I agree. I know he's got such fun stuff. It's fun. It's fun to Mac's been a sponsor for all of my events. He sent lots and lots and lots of T-shirts and tank tops and hats, and of course then gift certificates and egg whites, and like it's been nonstop. I feel like the whole time we've been together, he's been a sponsor and a supporter of everything I've done, and of course I love to share the goodness. So I can't wait to kind of get into this a little bit. And Mac, all these years I've heard like little bits of pieces of your story, but I really want to kind of dive into who Mac is, how you got into Egg White International, and why eggs? I mean, really, why eggs? Do you know these answers?
No, I mean, I know why I love eggs and
right?
egg whites specifically,
Right?
so it's a good question.
Yeah, so let's hear, Mac, if you can kind of go back in time and share with us some history on who Mac is. I mean, because, for the most part, people just look, oh, Mac, he owns Egg White International. But who's Mac? Because I know there's some really special pieces to you. You can't have been married for 38 years and not be a really special man. I'm, of course, married to a really special woman, too. But I'd love to hear a little bit about your history, who Mac is, and how you got into eggs.
Well, it's really kind of funny because I've been in, since 1978, I've been in the rent-to-own industry, working for companies, renting and rent-to-own TVs, furniture, appliances. And I ended up getting an offer in California to come out and buy a company in California by just working as a partner in the company. And so I owned a franchise here called Color Time for 25 years. And back in 1999, my wife and I were at her doctor's appointment, and her doctor is just total comedian. And so we always do the last appointment of the day because he likes to BS a little bit after the appointment. And so after the appointment, he takes us in his office and he says, check out these pictures. And he shows us a picture of him standing between these two massive bodybuilding women. Keep in mind, this guy's like 5'2", and these women are like 6'6". And so I'm looking at him and I'm going, well, what's this all about? He says, well, I'm in the egg white business. And I go, what do you mean you're in the egg white business? He says, that's my retirement plan. And I said, you're a doctor. What do you mean that's your retirement plan? So he proceeds to tell me about these two patients of his who were bodybuilders that were trying to save other bodybuilders all the work of cracking and separating a dozen eggs every morning and a dozen eggs every night. So it was really initially about saving bodybuilders a lot of work. So they were trying to figure out how many eggs it would take in a week for a bodybuilder to not have to do all this work. And it turned out to be about 14 dozen eggs. So they were looking for investors. And this was when it was a brand new company. So I said, okay, I'll bite. And so even though I had my other company, I figured, okay, I'll be a little bit of a financial backer for them. So I invested in it. And then more and more I got interested in it. I was supposed to be a silent partner, but I ended up starting to go into the meetings and learning a little bit more about it. And anything. One thing led to another, and then from August of 1999 until January of 2001, on January of 2001, I basically took over as the president and CEO of the company, and gradually started selling off my rent-to-own stores. So over the next 11 years, I completely got out of the rent-to-own industry and got 100% into the egg white business. And even though they were cracking the eggs to save all the work for the bodybuilders, the bodybuilders still were tired of eating all these eggs. So I had to figure out a way to make it a protein drink. And it took a couple of years to figure out how to make it palatable and get rid of the slimy texture and get rid of the avidin. So it was just a fluke that I wasn't even supposed to be in this industry. I was just a silent partner that ended up buying the majority of the company and then becoming the president and CEO of the company.
You ended up unsilent. Well,
yeah, no kidding.
I didn't realize, I mean, because, we get the egg whites and we just think, oh, this is how they've always been. So I didn't realize that the egg whites weren't the pastured, filtered egg whites that we have today. So it didn't start like that, is what you're saying. Is that right?
No, what was funny is because the idea was to save bodybuilders all the work, we also found out that the bodybuilders were sick and tired of eating 14 dozen eggs a week. So the first few trade shows we did, we brought the egg whites with a blender and some strawberries, and we do these trade shows with a blender and just blend them up into strawberries to kind of get rid of the slimy texture because you could hide it in a blender. Well, I says, you know what, this is way too much work. We got to make this fast and easy. Nobody's going to want to have to clean up a blender every morning. So I started looking into filtering systems that could get rid of the slimy texture without getting rid of the texture of cooking the egg, because otherwise you have a watery egg when you cook it. And once we figured out how to turn it into a drink, oddly enough, the wives of the bodybuilders realized that by drinking it, they could lose weight. And so we went from 2001 to 2003 being 99% bodybuilding. And then by 2005, 2007, we were 80% weight loss because the word just spread. And because there's so many more overweight people in America trying to lose weight than there are bodybuilders, it just grew like a weed really, really fast.
Wow. Okay, that's really exciting. So, a lot of people kind of want to know, they're like, okay, you're drinking eggs and they think it's raw. So how do we get past that? What's your favorite kind of description? I know, we've talked about it a lot, but in your words, it's not raw, but maybe share with everyone listening or that will be listening later. How does it make it not raw?
Well, it's low heat pasteurized to kill all the bacteria, salmonella, listeria, and E. coli. So it's totally clean of all bacteria. Then we double filter it and do what's called homogenizing blast, which is kind of like picture a cube of sugar and you hit it with a hammer. It's still sugar. It's just a million little pieces of sugar. So by doing this homogenizing blast, it makes this texture of the egg whites like water. So when we do trade shows, it's really funny to look at the look on people's faces because they come up to the booth and they see a sign that says egg whites and they see the Dixie cup and their first reaction is, oh no, I'm not drinking that.
Right.
And the minute we tell them what it is and we put a little chocolate in it and hand it to them, they go from this yucky face to this, oh my God, where do I get this kind of an attitude? And so we are actually one of the highest rated proteins by the U.S. government Feingold organization for children's nutrition because it actually helps kids with ADD, ADHD, severe food allergies, night terrors, and studies in autism. So you can literally take a half a cup of egg whites, a half a cup of milk, and put over cereal, and the kids just don't have a clue.
Right.
So it's totally mental. Until you drink it, it's all mental. Everybody, the first time they buy it, it's like, I don't know about this until they drink it. And then it's like, oh my God, you just see it go over their face where it's just this night and day change in their attitude when they realize they really can't taste it.
Well, you're right. I have my goddaughter who I met when she was 11, and she started living with us. And I remember had a healthy cereal, the healthiest one I could find. And I would put the egg whites in it. And at first she didn't know and she wouldn't, but then she saw me putting it in it. And then as soon as she saw me putting it in it, she'd be kind of freaked out, but she didn't taste it. And so I would just say, don't watch. And so she was like, okay. But it's
There's
true.
actually-
It really is a mental thing for people, right? I mean, Jules, do you think it's mental? Like,
Oh, it's 100% mental. Yeah. People just imagine what a raw egg is like, but that's totally the opposite of what it is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not a. We have to tell them that it's not a raw egg; it's a liquid egg. So technically, it is cooked through the pasteurization process, which has killed all the bacteria, but it's definitely not a raw egg.
So even though it's, like you just said, it's cooked, it still has 100% absorbable protein content, right? Like it hasn't been denatured because it's low heat. Is that correct? Am I saying that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. When you do a high heat flash pasteurization, it's usually at 165 degrees. Just like if you cook it in a frying pan, you denature the protein, even though it makes a great omelet and it's still the highest deliverable protein of all proteins. When you cook it, you lose at least 12% of the protein, so you only get 88%. By low heat pasteurizing it, we maintain that integrity of the protein, so it's not denaturing the protein. So you're basically getting about 100% as you would from a raw egg, but you can't digest a raw egg because of that avidin, and avidin blocks your vitamin B6 uptake. So it's not salmonella that's the issue. It's avidin in a raw egg white that basically blocks your biotin, so you're not really using any of the protein when you do the raw egg.
So all those bodybuilders back in the day that used to swallow the raw eggs, they were not really getting the protein they thought they were getting. Is that right?
No, as a matter of fact, there's two sides to that. If they do just the raw egg white, the biotin deficiency causes hair loss. So you see a lot of bald bodybuilders.
No.
When they did the Rocky movie, he drank the whole egg.
Okay.
So the yolk is loaded with the biotin, and the egg white has the avidin. So the biotin avidin together, when you drink it, will counteract a little bit, so your body can use at least 30% of the egg when you drink a whole egg, but it tastes like you're drinking a whole egg. Where by heat pasteurizing it, the egg white is 100% bioavailable by itself because you've neutralized that avidin.
Wow. Okay. I never knew that. And I don't know if you've told me that fact before, but that's really interesting information because I didn't know that. So it's so cool. That's why I love to do these shows, because I get to talk to the people that I've known for so long, like 15 or more years, and learn things. And, you know, Mac, you've been a huge staple in our bodybuilding and fitness industry, and it's just so fun to get to learn from you. So curious, like, you probably never knew when you were a teenager that you would be teaching about eggs, right?
I didn't think I would have anything to do with eggs other than making some fried eggs on a Sunday morning or something, because even my, here's the funny thing. This is hilarious.
This is what?
My wife, when I got involved in the egg white business, when I owned this rent-to-own company, I owned 9 stores, but I spent most of my time playing golf, and I was on the couch. And she'd just basically say, "Why don't you get off the couch and do something?" So I ended up getting involved in the egg white business. Well, as soon as I got involved in the egg white business and started turning it into this drink, my wife says, "You know what? Leave me alone. Don't talk to me about this. This is your thing. I'm not drinking these disgusting egg whites. Don't even talk to me about this." And so for 3 years, she wouldn't touch the egg whites. And she started watching the videos on our website and watching the testimonials on our website, and started seeing all these people saying that their hair was growing thicker, their fingernails were growing longer, their skin was tighter, they were losing weight. So she's thinking, man, there's got to be something to this. So she likes to drink iced coffee. So every morning she put 1 pump of egg whites in her iced coffee. Then the next day, 2 pumps. The next day, 3 pumps. Until she got it up to about 8 pumps, which is the normal drink. It's like 26 grams of protein. And she handed me her iced coffee one day and says, "How does this taste?" I said, "Oh, it tastes really good." She says, "Well, that's all egg whites with the exception of the coffee." And I go, "Really?" And so I was not a coffee drinker back then. And then when she told me that, I started putting it in my iced coffee every day, so I'd have a healthy breakfast every morning instead of just putting it in chocolate milk. And I started telling everybody about that. And the iced coffee drink that's how the iced coffee drink got born, was because my wife wouldn't drink it for 3 years until she started playing around with her iced coffee. And that's how the whole iced coffee drink came about.
Well, I like to use it in my green tea and my black tea. So I use Peak Tea, which is a real organic, loose leaf. And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I really enjoy having it in my teas. And I have a whole little system that I do with my teas. And I put some butter, or I'll put No Brainer. There's so many new things you can put in your drinks now that have like the MCT and the fats and stuff. And I have my 2 favorite drinks, and I love it like that. So I'm not a cereal person. So Jules, do you use it in a drink like that other than a smoothie or something?
I literally make eggs with it every single day. I love it so much. But I also put it in I like to put it in my cashew milk at night before I go to bed, because it helps you sleep. Mm-hmm. Fills you up, helps you sleep. But I'm an egg. I like to eat eggs.
Yeah, I do too.
Jules, you got to tell them the whole story, because you and I have been friends for almost 15 years, and for 13 of those years, you had an egg allergy.
Yes,
even though you were totally supportive of the product for 13 years, you could never actually use it yourself.
Well, in the beginning,
you got over this allergy.
In the beginning, I did. I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius. This is so easy and it's so healthy. And by the way, explaining all of that about egg whites, I'm like, I'm sold. I mean, why wouldn't you want to buy Egg Whites International? But yeah, at the beginning, I was loving egg whites, eating them. And then I was just having this every day. I just had a stomach ache. I felt bloated. And so my doctor was like, let's do an allergy sensitivity test. And I said to her, I go, you can tell me anything but that I'm allergic to eggs. And so the test comes back, and she calls me up and she goes, Julie, it's going to be okay. And I go, I'm allergic, aren't I? And she's like, yes. And I called Mac and I go, I can't, I hate to say this because you know how much I love you and I love your egg whites, but I can't eat them. And it literally took me 2 years. And I went back every year and tested. And the 3rd year it came back that I wasn't allergic anymore. So I called Mac up and I was like, we're back and I'm eating them.
Well, what changed for you? Do you know what changed?
Well, they say you can develop a sensitivity to anything at any time. Okay. And I love eggs so extremely that I think my body started rejecting it a little bit.
Okay.
And they say if you take that sensitivity out of your diet for a certain amount of time, that you're able to come back to it. And so it took a little bit of time. But during that time, I still supported Mac, and I love the product. And there is nobody better out there than Mac. He is such a supporter of every business, mm-hmm. of everyone, and he really does believe in his product, and mm-hmm. he does make a really good product.
I agree. Well, one of my favorite ways is I wanted to talk to you, Mac, about the eggs used in Egg White International and kind of compare, because I think a lot of people are kind of misinformed about eggs and chickens and how it's all like how are they handled, and you hear the horror stories. So I want to talk a little bit about that. But before we talk about that, one of my favorite ways is I like to get 2 full, like the best eggs I can get. And I have a friend that gives me her 14-year-old son has chickens, and so they'll sell me a dozen eggs for $4, which is pretty good. And they're pasture raised and cage free and organic and all the things. So I want to talk to Mac a little bit about that. But one of my favorite things is to take, besides putting it in my green tea or my black tea or whatever, I'll take 2 real eggs, and then I'll add a half a cup or quarter cup or whatever I want protein wise, and I'll just add it to my fried as my egg is cooking, and I just add the eggs, and it just cooks all like one giant big egg, mm-hmm. or 2, right? And then I have like the extra white. So I utilize it in that form too, which I really like, because I'm the same way. I love eggs.
I do too.
And you can put eggs on toast. You can put it on beef. You can put it on bison. You can put it, however you want to use the eggs, right?
It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And then at night before bed and all these things. So there's
my favorite. There's some siracha, some salsa,
we'll just keep going on.
Cholula.
Yeah. The green or the red?
Either. All.
Wait, Cholula is green.
No, you can get Cholula green or red.
Okay, I was right. Then I second guessed myself.
Heck yeah.
All right. So a little spicy here, girls and boys.
We got to spice up your egg whites. It's the best part. You can do anything to them and they taste amazing.
Exactly. I like to put pink salt on them myself.
Ooh.
Lots of pink salt and pepper. So, okay. So Matt, can you give us your best advice on eggs? First of all, I want to talk about how Egg White International, how you choose the eggs that we get the egg whites from, because I know that's important to a lot of people. I know for me, it's really important to know that the egg whites come from chickens that aren't abused. And I know you and I have talked about that before, and maybe then kind of dive into a little bit about the organic versus natural versus cage-free, pasture-free, and just share your expertise on that, because I know that is an expertise for you and that you're sensitive to that too.
Well, California really made a big change on a lot of this a couple of years ago. They passed this law called CA 144, California compliant. And what that law says is that a chicken can't be in a cage without 144 inches of room so they could spread their wings and make a full turn without touching another chicken. Well, when they passed that law in California, the chicken farms that normally held 40,000 chickens could only now hold 4,000 chickens. Wow. So 95% of the chicken farms left California because they said, look, we can't survive like this. So California, in all their wiseness, decided, well, we're going to make this CA 144 law, a law that says now you can't bring any eggs into California or ship them out of California unless they fall under the CA 144 California compliant law. So that raised the price of eggs for me significantly. But what it also did is it made me go from a standard domestic egg white to a egg white and kind of a free range or cage-free blend that is a non-GMO, hormone-free, pesticide-free, antibiotic-free, lactose-free, gluten-free, all-natural fed chicken that actually has the exact same nutritional value as an organic egg, but it's not an organic egg because it's not certified organic feed. So if I decided I wanted to do an organic egg, there would be no nutritional value as a protein drink. In other words, the organic egg white and my egg white under the CA 144 rule are basically nutritionally the exact same thing without paying the higher price for an organic egg. And the difference between buying our egg whites and the ones you would buy in a grocery store or in a carton is that most of those egg whites are designed for baking or cooking. A lot of them will say on their label, used within 7 to 10 days of opening. Right. Ours is 6 months in the refrigerator. A lot of them will say that and some of them won't even tell you that they have a whipping agent, a preservative, or an onion powder to help make angel food cakes and meringue because they're designed for baking or cooking. And they will say on the label, can be used in a smoothie. Well, the key word there is smoothie, meaning blender. Just like I started 21 years ago blending egg whites with strawberries to get rid of the texture. So if you drink a carton of egg whites at a store and then you drink my egg whites, people almost immediately say, oh yeah, there's definitely a difference just in the taste and the texture of drinking these. So if people are looking for a cheap egg for cooking and they can buy something cheap at Ralph's or Costco and they're not going to drink it, then yeah, go buy the cheapest thing you want to buy. But make sure you pay attention on the shelf, because you can buy a carton of egg whites on the shelf for $3.99, or you can buy the same thing on the shelf for $6.99 because it's an organic, cage-free, free-range version of that. And so with our liquid egg whites shipped to people's homes, the way we do the pricing and whatnot, we're as competitive as any of those if you really do the math, because we're selling it as a protein drink. We really could care less if you ever really cook it, because if you do a recipe on the website for an omelet, who's going to go buy 14 dozen eggs to go make one omelet? They're going to go buy a dozen eggs. They're going to buy a carton of eggs. But when you talk about using it as a protein drink, these guys are going through thousands of pounds of protein powders, which have heavy metals in them and all kinds of amino spiking and all kinds of problems. So we're promoting our egg whites more as the world's perfect protein drink, and not so much that that we want you to cook it, even though you can cook it. There's just more benefit to drinking it than there is to cooking it. So it's good on both ends of the spectrum. But if you really want to benefit from it, your major benefits replacing that protein powder with Egg Whites International as your protein drink.
Although I do have to say, Mac, that you do make a much fluffier egg white than just the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's like
part of that
super
filtering-
fluffy.
Yeah, part of that filtering system does make it a fluffier omelet for sure.
Oh, I have sold Egg White International to people before that, just on the pure fact that it can last in your fridge up to I'll say 4 or 5 months. I mean, you just said 6, but I know I've had, because, sometimes we don't have a lot of people staying in the house that use the egg whites, and my husband will be traveling a lot, so it'll just be me. So, like, how fast can I go through a gallon of egg whites? But so it's really nice that it can last up to that 4 or 5 months. You just said 6 months. Is that in your fridge open for 6 months, or is that more about 4?
Well, let me clarify.
Yes, please.
We have tested it in a refrigerator unopened for up to 11 months.
Whoa.
And it never went bad.
Okay.
So when I'm saying 6 months, I'm saying 6 months unopened. So you don't need a freezer if you want to buy it in bulk. You can just put it in your refrigerator.
Okay.
Now, the problem is once you open it, you're at the mercy of any air or bacteria or dust particle or anything that gets in that bottle. It could spoil in 1 month if some bacteria gets in there.
Well, I've never had that happen.
Me neither.
Yeah,
He
the
has to
people
put that out
that
there, though, I guess.
say that it might start going bad after 3 or 4 months, it's usually nothing to do with the egg whites. It has to do with what got in the egg whites from opening and closing at 3 or 4 months. That's one of the reasons that our pump is so popular, because our pump keeps it sealed all the
Well,
time.
that's probably why we don't have issues. You use
You're
the pump,
not-
right?
Heck yeah, I use the
Yeah.
pump.
That's probably what the issue is, and I hadn't thought about that, Mac. It's if someone's not using that pump and they're opening, closing, then that makes a lot of sense.
And leaving it on the counter for 30 minutes
Right.
and not, putting that into the equation as well,
Yeah.
Well,
right?
if you've ever poured egg white out of the gallon bottle, when that residue gets on the lid and you screw the lid back on, after about 6 or 7 times of doing that, the residue turns into a fine powder and will literally super glue the lid shut.
Oh, I've had that before.
So you can't open it at all because the dry powder freezes it shut. So when that dry powder gets in the bottle, now you've got dried egg whites going inside a clean bottle that's going to cause bacteria to build up and cause it to.
Okay, so the moral of the story is
sooner
use the
from that
pump.
getting into the bottle. That's why you don't want it to be opening and closing it all the time.
And then every once in a while, the
What?
tip of the pump, you have to like stick a little toothpick or something if it gets kind of,
Okay, you clearly are not using it every single day like
well,
I am.
sometimes I travel and then it's stuck in there, for
You
a
got to
couple
bring it
days.
with you. You got to bring a
A
cooler
whole
with
gallon with me, girl.
Yeah, yes. No excuses.
I'm gonna-
Come on,
Hey,
Mac, right?
In the past,
Tell her to bring a cooler.
on the flights, I
the
used to
note
go-
from her doctor.
Well,
in the past, I used to travel with my
You
water because
know.
I could travel with water.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
Because I would go to a competition and I knew I had to have my water. I flew to France to compete at Olympia when I won, and I took 2 cases of water that was purified and it was sodium free and all this stuff. And back in 1998, you could do that.
Yeah, you could do
But
that. I was
nowadays,
gonna say.
you have to buy it in the airport. But yeah, I flew to France with 2 12 bottle cases of water.
Well, this is why I'm not Miss Olympia. Now I know. Now I understand.
Travel with your egg whites. No, I wish
I will never be Miss Olympia. I can't drink 1 water bottle a day. But don't worry, I will eat a half gallon of egg whites.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, so fun, so fun. So, okay, Mac, you've helped so many people, and I know that you've got these awesome shirts, Cluck You COVID, but you have another shirt that says Cluck You Cancer, and you've done a lot of support for people with cancer. Can you share with us and our viewers about how Egg White International has been helpful for people that have cancer and have been able to utilize it to, heal themselves? Or provide nutrition.
Absolutely. And I actually, I work with a lot of cancer doctors, and I met a couple of doctors, 15 years ago, and they said that the people that succumb to cancer actually succumb to cancer cancer, they succumb to malnutrition. Because when they're going through chemo treatments, they'll lose 15, 20, 25 pounds of their muscle mass the first 2 weeks of chemo with certain, because all their food tastes like metal. They can't keep solid food down. They don't want to eat. They're throwing it up. And by being able to take the egg whites and put it in orange juice or anything, I mean, because most of these cancer patients, their taste buds are like, everything tastes like metal. So it kind of burns up their taste buds. So they can drink the egg whites like they're drinking a glass of water and get the same amount of protein as eating an 8 ounce. They're never going to keep an 8-ounce steak down. So when cancer patients are drinking the egg whites during chemo treatments, they're not losing 15, 20, 25 pounds of muscle mass. So they're staying healthier to fight the chemo, because the chemo is a poison trying to kill another poison, and it's just really beats you up. And so what a lot of patients like is the fact that they stay nutritionally sound, and then as they bounce back from the chemo, the egg whites helps their hair grow back thicker and faster. It helps their fingernails, it helps their skin. So it's really all about nutrition. If people could figure a way to eat healthy during chemo, they'd be a lot healthier, but nobody wants to eat anything during chemo. And there's not that many healthy drinks you can drink, because if you're drinking a protein powder that has heavy metals in it, you're putting a poison in a body you're putting heavy metals in a body that's already dealing with poison, and it's just not going to work well in your system. So it's good to find the cleanest food you can find when you're going through a chemo treatment. And our egg whites have turned out to be one of the easiest, smoothest things to help these people stay healthy without worrying about having to eat food all the time when they have no appetite to eat the food in the first place.
Wow. I mean, Mac, you have such a heart for people, and it just shows in everything that you do and how you come across. And so I'm so honored to just know you and know what you're all about. I want to kind of go back a little bit to when you were a teenager. Like, who were you back then? And I know we're kind of skipping backwards a little bit, but as I'm listening to you, and I know I've known you for so long, and I know Jules and you have had a long relationship as well, but I want to know kind of who was Matt growing up, and what were your interests growing up? Because it's kind of, we didn't really touch on that, but I always like to hear those kind of things too.
Well, this might surprise you. When I was 15 years old, I used to work in a pool hall in Oklahoma City. And in the summertime, nobody is in a pool hall in Oklahoma City. So I would spend all my time learning trick shots on a pool table. And over the next, I should say the last 40 or 50 years, I've had this nickname, Mac the Knife, because I'm a professional trick shot artist on a pool table in my fun spare time.
I love it. I've always been intrigued with a pool. I'm not good at it. Only one time in my life, I remember going in with my ex-husband to a bar, and we went in. It was just this random place in Venice, California. We went in, and I couldn't miss a shot. And he was really good at, so the people around us, he was actually really good, and I couldn't miss that night. It was just one of these random things. It was one time in my whole life. And I remember and everyone was like, I thought you said you couldn't play it. I'm like, and they all thought I was lying. It was like
Lucky
one
day.
time in my life. And I remember calling my brother, because he's 2 years older than I am. And my brother used to always try to teach me how to play pool. And we'd go out and play, and I would watch him. He was really good too. But I remember calling him that night going, I couldn't miss a shot tonight. I was a pool shark. And he was so proud of me. I always did things to try to make my brother proud. But,
Well, maybe Mac will come and teach you.
that's so fun. I love hearing about these interesting little pieces. Did you know that about Mac?
No, I did not know that.
And that's what happens when we, all of the years working with you, Mac, we talk about the show, we're at the show, we're interacting with people, you've got your fans, and I'm at the booth, and I got my fans, and it's like, hi, we're all excited. It's time to go. And then it's like, there's not a lot of time usually at the big events to discuss some of these cool facts. And that's one of the reasons I created the show, was to get to know people that have helped build this industry, between not just the legendary athletes, but the powerhouse individuals that helped create the nutrition side of things, and the the expo side of things, and the shows and the promoters and all of the different people. And Mac, you fall right into that because you've been such a big support of the bodybuilding fitness industry for so many years, obviously. And it's just interesting to hear, kind of your background of pool. And here you are, like one of the big names in the bodybuilding, like legendary, industry.
Well, and I have to say too, when you were talking about cancer, I'm on the board of the Phoenix Cancer Support Network.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as Mac heard that, he goes, okay, I need to get involved. What do I need to do? Because every single cancer patient that Phoenix Cancer Support Network is helping, Mac wanted to be right there to really help. And of course, the education on that is so important, because it makes so much sense that when they can't eat anything, the egg whites, definitely you can sneak that into anything that they're drinking.
How did you get on that board? I know we haven't had a chance to dive into you, and I want to know about you too. So I'm just trying to be conscious of our time, but I want to hear about your involvement, because you're obviously in the industry in a different way. But obviously you and Mac have known each other for so long, and you and I just met today.
I know. I love it.
So I'm excited to hear about you and how you got into the place that you're in.
So the whole thing is networking, right? I mean, it's crazy that the three of us have come together through completely separate things. And that's kind of where the Phoenix Cancer Support Network came from. Is one of my followers as a fitness instructor, was all about getting healthy and fit. And so she started following all the little fun things that I do. Cryotherapy I got introduced to. Of course, you need a beautiful spray tan. You know all about that. And so this woman was following me around, doing everything that I said. And one day I ran into her, and she was with her little daughter who had a cast on at cryotherapy, where you get frozen. It's great for inflammation. And I said, oh, what happened to your daughter? And she said, oh, well, she got kicked in the shin playing soccer, and it broke her shin. So lo and behold, that's not normal. They found out that she had bone cancer, and they wound up having to amputate her leg and do this whole thing. And I have this platform, and I felt so bad. And here's this woman that I meet because she's following me, and I'm going, what can I do for this little girl? What can I do for this woman to help them? Obviously, I can't cure her cancer, but I thought, you know what? Let me help raise money. And so I started raising money and awareness for her cancer. And again, networking is crazy. This woman, Jenny, was in my aerobics class, and again, you know these people, but you don't know these people.
Right.
And she was taking my fitness classes, and I had no idea that her sister died of cancer, and she had started the Phoenix Cancer Support Network. And she saw me raising money and awareness for this little girl, Bridget, and she said, I want to help her. I have this foundation. I want to help this little girl. We're going to redo her bedroom so that it's friendly for an amputee. And not only that, I want to help her, but I really want to bring you onto the board because I see your big heart and I see what you can do. I see how you can use your platform for good. And I said, done, let's do it. And this is 2.5 years later, little Bridget, she's running. She's got a prosthesis. She runs, she swims, she plays basketball. She's doing everything. And so my thing now is just I love helping people. I love helping businesses like Max because he's so passionate about what he does. He has a great product, and the hardest part is getting it out there.
Right.
And so if I can help Phoenix Cancer Support Network get their name out there and get more money donated so we can help people in the Phoenix community that have cancer, if I can help Mac share his amazing product to help people lose weight and have a great product and get protein in their children and their elderly parents who are having a hard time, getting the calories in their day that they need. I mean, it's all worth it.
I love it. Wow. That's really, really fun to hear what you're doing with your platform. And so how did you actually get started in that? Because I know you're a mom.
Yeah.
And you've got a, background of dance.
Yep.
And I read that you said you were a self-proclaimed chubby girl with the interest in dance. So what is that? Who is that Girl, because I don't see that here. There's no chubby here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know your backstory on how you got into fitness, but I think now that I am where I am, I really do believe in baby fat. And I think I had baby fat. I was always active. And I think it's, you know, you can be chubby just because you haven't gone through puberty. But I think that a lot of us define ourselves at a young age and think, well, that's just me. I'm chubby. So therefore I'm just going to be chubby. I'm the uncoordinated chubby girl. So I'm never going to play a sport and I'm never going to do that. And fortunately, I don't know what it is that it has always been inside of me to say, screw that. You know, you say I'm chubby, I'm not going to be chubby. What do I need to do? And I've just always been very driven to change whatever has been, you know, given to me or told to me. I don't take that. And
you don't accept it.
I don't accept it. And so I, you know, was the chubby girl in the back row dancing and I hated it. In fact, I quit dance when I got my costumes for the recital and I tried on the costume and I came out and I felt ridiculous. And I told my mom, I'm not getting on stage.
How old were you?
I was probably like 10. I cannot get on the stage wearing this. I continue doing other things, but I'm done. I'm not getting on the stage. I will not wear this costume. I look like a clown and I quit. That's when I quit. But I didn't let that stop me from getting to where I am today. And so I love helping people. I started teaching aerobics at 16. And wound up getting my degree in exercise physiology just through trying to figure out, okay, what am I doing? Why aren't I getting skinnier? You know, you get really kind of roped in. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the trying to figure out how am I going to get there? And now that I'm there, I am so passionate about helping other people realize that they too can get there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So when did you meet Mac? Because y'all have known each other for a long time. And how did y'all meet?
From a fitness convention. I was going to the fitness conventions and
California or one of the big ones?
Yep, in California. I met him at one of the conventions in California.
What are the natural food shows or something?
The fitness convention, the big idea fitness convention. Yeah. I would go every single year. I started going in college when I started teaching when I was 16. So I would go every single year to the fitness conventions. And so Mac and I met and, you know, I'm so talkative, shocking. And so we met and started talking and I was like, oh, and when I love something, I shout it from the rooftop. So you were asking, how did I get going doing what I'm doing? Well, people would ask me, oh my gosh, your hair looks so pretty. Where do you go? What do you do? Oh my gosh, your makeup looks so beautiful. Where'd you go? How do you do it? Oh my gosh, your body looks so good. What do you do? And so individually I was telling people for free, which is fine. You know, I enjoyed that. If I know something, if I have a great hairstylist, if I have a great tip, that's like my favorite thing to do. But one at a time, you can't get the word out very quickly, right?
Right.
So I realized that because so many people were asking me, I realized, you know what? I need to do this in a better way so that I can share this with so many more people and also with fitness as well. Because, I realized that I would be in a classroom of 20 people, but that's only 20 people when I really wanted to get out there to so many more people. And also I would hear all day from people saying, well, Julie, I would come to your class, but your class is too late. I would come to your class, but I have my daughter. I would come to your class, but your gym membership's too much. Right? There's 5 million excuses.
Right.
And so I thought, okay, so what can I do? I'm tired of hearing your excuses. Right? So I thought, what can I do to make it so that you all can do a workout and not tell me your excuse? Right. So I started teaching 2 virtual classes a week that were recorded on Facebook. So even if they didn't catch it live, they could press play and do it anytime. And all they needed was a set of weights and a mat. And I made it for all levels. And so I was doing that for years. And then COVID hit. And I said, screw it. Let's do it every single day. I'm going to teach every single day. And so I have been teaching since COVID hit, so it's been a year. I actually tapered it down to 6 days a week. I'm like, I do need 1 day to rest. Six days a week I teach live.
Okay, and what time is it still on Facebook?
Yes, it's a Facebook group. It's actually a paid group, but are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's $5.99 a month, or you can pay $60 for the whole year. That's like $1 a week.
Wow.
And the reason everybody's like, you're kidding me, right? I'm like, no. Oh, and I didn't want to charge at all. And everybody goes, you have to charge something.
Right.
I don't want the excuse. Julie, I would do it, but I can't afford it. You can't, it's $1 a week, you know? So if you can't put $1 a week into your fitness, then you got some more problems.
Wow. That's a lot and a little. Does that make sense? A lot of classes. So what time are the classes?
So this is the funny part. It's at 9:10-ish. Because I'm absolutely never on time. 9:10-ish. And I refuse. And you know what? It started at 9 o'clock, but I was never on time. So I made it 9:10. 9:10, I'll be there.
Hey, I like the ish.
And I refuse to make it any later than 9:10 because otherwise it's just going to keep tipping, you know?
Right.
So it's 9:10-ish it's a group page on Facebook, Workout with Lifestyle Jules. And it's honestly the most fun group. And I enjoy teaching virtually more than I enjoy teaching live anymore. It's crazy.
Okay, so you're doing the live workout, and then people can come on
jump
after.
On.
So
no, they're live with me.
They're live with you. Okay,
they're live with me, and
cool.
they're commenting. They can comment.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like I have more interaction with them virtually than I ever did in a classroom.
Men and women.
Men, I do. I have men and women,
cool.
and they'll be commenting like, "I'm dying," or "Gosh, my chest is so sore from yesterday," or you know, whatever it is.
And you teach from home, or are you in a gym?
I am in my own studio now,
okay.
and it has aerobic flooring. It has my sign behind
nice.
me. Yeah, it's really legit.
And just dumbbells and a mat.
Just dumbbells and a mat. I actually did add, and you don't have to buy it, a Pilates ball because you can use it. If you don't have the ball, then you don't need to use it, but it does make it just a little more variety.
Right, and people can kind of get those tools fairly easily.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Amazon.
What about, I kind of did very, very similar. Twice a week I'm doing a live on Zoom.
Oh, see, there you go. Same thing.
And it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it as well because I'm participating in coaching. So it was kind of fun, right? So one of the things that I really love, and I haven't implemented it yet, but I want to know your thoughts on it. What about trampolines, the little mini tramps? Do you like them?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, anything that you can add like that. First of all, I mean, honestly, no, they're not that expensive. I mean, all equipment I think is great. It's just, it's an added expense and it's an added thing to put somewhere. Right. But we all get bored, and and the trampoline is so fun, and it gives you, it's a little shock absorber. So instead of jumping on the ground, it's great.
I love it. I know. I grew up on a big trampoline, so. So Mac, hi.
Hi.
We're here visiting and catching up here. Back to AWACS. It's so fun to hear. So Jules, you have a really cool platform that you're utilizing for so many different things. I love that. And it's so fun for me to get to know other people like yourself that are doing these kind of things, really giving back. And that's why we're all knowing one another, because it's fun to just share what people are doing and how you're helping.
Of course.
Yeah. So how often are you involved in I know we were talking about cancer. How often are you involved in that organization? Is it once a month, or is it just when needed?
Yeah. So no, we meet once a month, and we're always planning things, and I'm always promoting. Her sister died at 24, and she died actually February 24th was her 16-year anniversary of when she passed away. So we just had a big, huge fundraiser for her just this past week.
Okay. Mac, so do you have anything specific on the website that I don't know about? If someone has cancer or knows someone that has cancer, that they would like to kind of gather some more information about what Egg White International does for cancer patients, is that something on the site now, or is that something that we could, people can email and get more information, or how could we handle that if we have a viewer that's watching that maybe wants to know more?
Well, no, I mean, my website does have a Q&A section that will have testimonials for people that fall under different categories. So maybe a testimonial section involving cancer, involving diabetes, involving weight loss, something along those lines. But I'm the type of guy that if they want to email me, I will get on the phone and spend 20 or 30 minutes with them to find out their situation, give them a little consult about how they do it. I know it sounds ridiculous to try to do it that way, but I'm just a people person. I'm from originally from Oklahoma and Texas, where everything is done on a handshake and you trust people. Yep. I'm not used to having to do everything through a text or through an email. I like to talk to people. So if people want to email me, my email is mac, M-A-C, at eggwhitesint for international.com. So if they email mac at eggwhitesint.com, I'll call them. I'll get in touch with them. We'll make an appointment, and I'll help them. I'll find out step by step what their situation is and give them the best suggestions. So that way they can get all their questions answered instead of trying to hunt through the website to figure it out. I'll take the time with people as much as I can to help them if they're interested in getting the information.
Well, you were right. You've always been like that. Doesn't matter who I've emailed you with. You've always said, hey, let me get on a phone call and let's talk. And I like the fact that you'll call me too. Sometimes we text and then you're like, just calling like, hey, it's just easier to talk. So I appreciate that about you for sure. I'm sure he's like that with you too.
Well, one of the
100%.
One of the things about when I met Jules, and she didn't say this, but every time I've seen Jules at a trade show, including the very first time, she always brings her iPad and sets it up on a tripod and does this whole interview in the booth to educate people about the product. And she did that the very first time I met her to learn about the egg whites. And every time I've seen her at a show, she's done the exact same thing consistently, where she has her iPod and she'll do a live feed or she'll do a recorded feed or something, but she'll really educate people at these trade shows. So when she goes around to different booths that she likes, she grabs the information. So she's actually virtually sharing these trade shows with her followers also.
That's awesome. So Jules, do you do your own social media posting, or do you have someone that helps you with some of the posting?
No, I am a one-man band.
One woman.
Yes, I do. One woman band. It's me. I do everything.
You have all the cymbals and the drum and everything going at once.
It's all of it. Yeah. I mean, you could call that a control freak. But it's hard to find somebody that'll do it the way you want it done. And so no better way to do it than just to do it yourself.
Well, that keeps you super busy.
Just a little bit.
How do you have time to be a mom?
Well, luckily, my kids are 18, 20, and 22 at this point.
There you go. Now they're able to handle themselves.
Mostly.
Mostly.
And now at this point, it's just really fun. I mean, my 18-year-old called me 2 days ago and FaceTimed me for 2 hours. It was actually, I was like, who are you? This is really nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
I love that. That's so fun. All right, so we're rounding out our time, but I want to jump into our rapid fire questions. Y'all ready?
I don't know.
Are you ready, Mac? I've got 10 questions. Some are similar and some are a little different for you guys, and I'll just ask one of you a question and the other one. So,
okay.
All right. So, just so you guys watching know, my guests do not know the questions, and that's just for fun. Okay. So, Mac, favorite type of dance: two-step, cha-cha-cha, or line dance? If you had to pick one.
Two-step.
All right. Jules, favorite style of eggs: fried, boiled, scrambled?
Ooh, scrambled.
All day long. Okay. All right. This question's for both of you. Matt goes first. Last 3 apps you used today on your phone or device?
Instagram, Facebook, and email.
Old standards nowadays.
Instagram, of course. Facebook, of course. Oh, and we can't forget Snapchat.
Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat yet. I don't want to get it.
It's the filter. The filter. I'll show you.
Oh, no. I don't want another one. Okay. So, Mac, we have not discussed your fancy car. Do you still have your fancy car?
Well, it depends. I have the car I'm driving now is my original 2000 Jaguar XK8, 21 years old, and I'm in the process of having to do replace the heads on it, so it's getting very expensive really quick. When I do not have the Maserati anymore.
That's the one I'm thinking of, the Maserati.
Yeah, when the lease ran out was the same time I got hit with the bird flu that killed 100 million chickens in 2015, and it really crippled our business. I mean, we went from doing $3 million a year to $1 million a year. And I just said, no, I don't need this car payment anymore. So I let the Maserati lease run out And I'm glad I never sold my Jaguar because it's a classic. So I'm driving my beautiful black Jag.
So is that so my question is, I know he used to share with me about the Maserati, so that's why I was like, do you still have that fancy car? Okay, so the question is a favorite car. So Mac, your favorite car is your Jaguar?
You mean in general?
In
or
general.
just the one I have?
Yeah, in general. Favorite car.
Ferrari.
Jules?
I think every guy says that. What is my favorite car? Well, a Bentley, of course.
Ooh, fancy pants. I do like those. I worked for BSN back in the day, and they picked me up the owner picked me up at the airport for an appearance one time in Florida where he lived, and he was in the Bentley, and I was like, ooh, what's this car? And he's like, it's a Bentley. And I'm like, well, can I have one?
He's like, no.
I'm like, you can put BSN all over it and I'll drive it.
There you go.
All right. Jules, your last vacation location.
Oh, gosh. Who can remember?
I know, right?
The last vacation, I was in Vancouver.
Okay.
In the winter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you skiing?
No, I was just cold.
Just cold on vacation.
Very.
Okay. Mac, what about you? Last vacation location.
Probably, other than Vegas, the only one out of the country is Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta. These were both before 2020?
Yes.
Yes. Before 2020, Mac? Was that before 2020?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't been on a vacation since the bird flu hit me in 2015.
Ooh.
Oh, you're due. You're due, my friend. Well, if you want to come out to Texas, I hear the governor just today released the no mask mandates for the entire state. So y'all want to come vacation in Texas? I got excited. I was like celebrating.
Horseback riding anyhow. So
you what?
I like horseback riding anyhow.
Oh,
so
come on out. We'll put you on a horse, Mac. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Mac, first memory of working with Jules. Just one memory.
The trade show. The trade show.
Okay.
When she came up and did the interview with her iPad.
I love it. Jules' first memory of using Egg White International.
Oh, from the trade show. Yeah. Cool. He had me hooked.
He had me at Egg Whites.
He had me at Egg Whites. Seriously, I was like, we have Egg Whites? Oh my gosh, it's in a pump? This is way too easy.
What? I can get protein like this super easy? Okay.
Seriously.
All right. Jules, 3 words describing yourself in your 20s.
Ooh, in my 20s. Mm-hmm. Well, I think I haven't changed. Energetic, ambitious, and way too sophisticated for my age.
All right, Mac. 3 words describing yourself as a teenager.
Reckless.
Ooh.
That's where the car comes in.
Yeah, right?
Look at he knows it too. He's like, oh yeah.
God, I don't really know. I guess I was brought up with my mom and 2 sisters, so I was the only guy around the house. So I was always in trouble for something.
So reckless, in trouble. That's 3 words. There you go. How about trouble? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if you think of more and you want to share later, we'll come back to it. Mac, if you could walk in the footsteps or the shoes maybe of a famous bodybuilder, who would it be? Since you're in the bodybuilding industry and you know a lot of them. Just like in their prime too, like one of the bodybuilders that you're like, it'd be really cool to be that bodybuilder in their prime.
Probably Jay Cutler, because he's a good friend of mine, and I would be in his shoes even now. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's in his prime, even though he's not really competing, but he is just one awesome dude.
I agree. I like Jay a lot. I believe I was the one that handed him his pro, when he turned pro, I handed him his pro trophy award. Because I know he and I used to work together, and he told me that a long time ago. I was like, oh, that was fun. All right, Jules.
And don't get me wrong, this isn't to take away from. I mean, there's several guys. I mean, Michael Hearn is.
He's worried he's going to get in trouble.
I know. Now he's like, shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
I gotta filter this so I don't leave out the guys
Michael
that
Hearn,
are all really good friends of mine.
Don't hurt anybody's feelings. If he did not say your name, it doesn't mean he doesn't love you.
You are all famous in Mac's eyes, and tomorrow night we'd come back on. He'll say the next one. I know, right? It's kind of fun. Okay, Jules. One of my, and I kind of texted with you earlier about this, and you need to go back, but one of my favorite Christmas movies is White Christmas. And Nick, I want you this year to watch
it.
White Christmas. I think is it The White Christmas or just A White Christmas? I can't remember, but my husband turned me on to it. We watch it probably 5 times every Christmas. Aww. It's an old-timey, fun, super fun story, and it's all the great old dancers. And there's beautiful dance production, and you will be floored. So you'll have to go in. So I'm rechanged but I had to tell you this because you need to see it.
Yeah, it was like dance. She was asking me all these questions. I'm like, no.
So moving back to the question, who is your favorite dancer from the past? Do you have one?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say, J-Lo and Britney Spears, right? I mean, we grew up with them.
Okay.
And it's more than their actual dance. It's the performance quality. I mean, they're entertainers, and that's what I think that's the biggest thing for me with a dancer is do they entertain. It's more than just the dance, right?
Yes. So you will 100% appreciate White Christmas, and you're probably going to want to go watch it before Christmas.
I know, I'm going to have to go watch it, yeah.
And I love it. My husband is big music and like the show, and he grew up in an environment of event planning and stuff. So anyways, okay. Mac, best expo you ever attended? Just name it. Which one?
Man, that's hard because there's so many good ones. Arnold is by far the biggest one because there's 300,000 people.
True.
But I love the Idea Show because the Idea Show specializes in mostly personal trainers and people in the industry. And you don't have 200,000 people. You have a small group of like 15,000 people, but you get to meet more people and talk to them.
And I was there.
Jules was there.
That's the start right there.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a personable person, and you like to interact, and you like to build that relationship. And it's sometimes so hard when there's so many people, and then you have those people just walking by, like grabbing stuff, and you're like, oh, I want to tell you about it, and they just want to look what's free.
What's free? I hate that.
Yeah, so I get that. Jules, what was the largest audience engagement from an Egg White International post? What did you do to gain that largest engagement?
Oh, wow. That's a tricky question.
Ooh, I know. Did you blend something, cook something, dance, and
drink
heck egg whites, or what?
No, actually, I think it was probably I think it was this Cluck You tank top. Honestly, I think this tank top got the most engagement. It was a picture with me flipping off the camera saying "Cluck you, COVID."
Was it a positive or a negative or a little?
Oh no, it was positive.
Oh, good.
Right,
good.
Mac, you saw that.
Good.
Oh, I reposted it. It's on my website too.
You know what? Actually, you'll laugh. You will actually laugh about this. And Mac, you'll love this too. It's on my dating profile.
This is who I am, and this is how I feel about COVID.
This is who I am. Right, without saying anything, my fingers up and this tank top on, it says a lot.
Well, that gets the point right out there, and you don't have to worry about if someone either agrees with you and wants to know you or they don't.
Well, listen, I will tell you, there is so much controversy. You have to be careful what you say about things, right?
Right.
That post got absolutely no negative feedback on it. Not anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter, mask, no mask, whatever. Everybody can agree that this past year was the hardest year of all of our lives. And so I think it was in good fun. Mm-hmm. And Mac, I'll say it again, your apparel, obviously the egg whites are freaking phenomenal, but your apparel, which is the shocking part or the surprising part, is that apparel and egg whites, you wouldn't combine those, you would think.
No.
But you do an amazing job with the quality and the phrasing and everything. It's fun. Chick magnet, fit chick, badass chick, yep. Fat chick, pretty hot and tempting. We won't call anybody fat. Anyways, they're just funny and they're cute.
It is great. Okay, Jules, if you could be a superhero, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, Wonder Woman. And I am Wonder Woman every year for Halloween. It's my one day. It's my one day of the year to shine.
I don't believe that, but we'll let you have it. I'm sure every day you shine.
Okay.
Every day you shine. All right, Mac, what about you? Superhero, who and why?
Probably Batman.
I knew you were going to say that.
Batman. Does Batman eat a lot of egg whites?
I knew you were going to say Wonder Woman.
You know.
Do you think Batman would eat a lot of egg whites?
Yeah, right.
He probably would. I mean, he's got a physique. Now, first of all, we don't know if he has a great physique because he's got the
padding.
moles.
Yeah.
So he has to fill that thing out and be strong still. So I'm assuming he would eat a lot of egg whites if he had to. Yeah, if he could. All right, Mac, favorite thing about being a grandparent versus being a parent? Ooh.
Well, you can correct all the mistakes you made as a parent.
Or spoil them? Put sugar in their egg whites?
Exactly.
Do some sugar in your egg whites. Now drink it down.
Yeah.
I just gave him egg whites, I promise. Jules, number one thing you have to remind your kids to do daily, maybe when they were younger.
Oh gosh, the number one thing will always brush your teeth. Come on, kids.
Brush those teeth. My dad used to say, let's go brush your little white doggies. And then I would be excited because I'm like, oh, my little white doggies, because I love dogs.
Aw, that's very smart.
Okay, this is just kind of a funny little story. So my dad in the military, he was in the Army and Green Beret and all these Ranger stuff. So I believe it was a Ranger school. I think it was Ranger school. He said they used to have to learn to, I'm sorry to say this, but kill a chicken in a bag and be able to cook it, eat it, and not leave any scraps because, right? Because if you're out somewhere and you have to kill a bird and eat it, you can't leave a trail for the enemy if you're out, deployed somewhere. So he was at one point in his career in charge of these chickens, delivering these chickens to different people in his training. And there was one chicken left over, and he took it home to my mom. And it was my mom's pet when I was a little girl. And her name was Miss Chicken.
Aww.
And she was so cute. My mom used to let her come in, and she would sit by the fireplace. And I used to remember, I used to hold her, and I just fell in love with her as a kid. And our neighbors had a German Shepherd jump the fence and ended up killing Miss Chicken one time.
No.
This was so sad. But my mom loved this chicken. So here we are, April or May or somewhere in there of 2020. And we live on a green belt. So that was years ago, like when I was in in the 70s, right? I was a kid. Well, here we are last year, 2020, where we live in Texas. We have green belt behind us. And two little chickens show up behind our fence. We have...
it's a sign.
We have a wrought iron fence, and a black one and a gray one show up. And I am so in love with these chickens. And they just showed up out of nowhere. And so we started getting chicken food for them and feeding them. Well, of course, over the months, the gray one ends up disappearing, and all I can imagine is it got eaten or something, and it was devastating. We didn't see the black one for a long time, and then the black one finally shows back up. So that little black chicken has been around for basically almost a year now, and she comes in the backyard, and she's a little small hen. She's not a normal chicken. She's just a little bitty hen, and she comes and she does her little chicken stuff, and we have chicken scratch, and now my husband, before we came here to the horse show, got her dried crickets and mealworms, and my mom's feeding her. And over the last week or so, when we had that horrible, crazy Texas snowstorm that we've never had ever, won't go into my thoughts about all that, but I was devastated. Like, what is Little Miss Chicken gonna do? Because our animals are not used to that. Did you make a little home? Well, I couldn't. She's wild. So I'm like, okay, the snow's really deep. We have it for however many days. We've lost power and water and all this stuff. Well, lo and behold, the snow is gone and the chicken shows up. Miss Chicken was still alive. So I've been every day. I'm praying for that little Miss Chicken because she's by herself now, and she comes and she'll eat with the deer, and she'll chase the squirrels away, and it's like we have this whole little cute.
All right, so now I got to start praying for the chicken every night.
I know, it's little Miss Chicken. I just love her. We call her Black Betty.
Black Betty.
And she probably has eggs the size of a pebble or something. I don't know. She's so tiny. She's not she's like a quarter of what a normal chicken would look like. But anyways, side note here, since we're talking about eggs and chickens and whatnot, but
it's cute.
It is cute. I'll have to show you my little videos of her. She's like my pet.
Oh my gosh, she might need some help, but that's okay.
I know. I love animals. So, okay, this has been so fun. Matt, can you please share any last things you'd like to share with the viewers? And also, what is your social media and website, if you don't mind just sharing that so we have that recorded, please?
Yeah, our website is www.eggwhitesin for international, int.com. And our social media is the @eggwhitesint. And both of you lovely ladies have some really nice discount promo codes. So if they use Monica or Jules, they can save 15% anytime.
Woo,
if they
nice.
call me and say Monica or Jules, I'll throw in a free clothing item worth an
yes.
extra $20.
I wore this just for you tonight, Mac.
I know you did, darling. I know you did.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. So great. That's how we find Egg White International. Jules, how do people find you?
All right. On Instagram, Lifestyle Jules, Jules, for my name, Julie. On Facebook, Lifestyle Jules. And my workout group is Workout, 2 words, with Lifestyle Jules. And also you can go to my website, www.lifestylejules.com. I try to keep it pretty easy.
That's pretty easy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Super simple, super simple. Well, this has been a really, really awesome show. I'm so excited to have Mac, and of course, meeting you and having you on was an added bonus. So thank you
fun.
again, Mac, for introducing me to my new friend Jules here and getting to have you on the show. And I think it'd be fun to have you back on as a co-host sometime.
Done.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. All right, you guys, if you want to see all of the past episodes, feel free to go to themonicabrantshow.com website. You can see past episodes all the way back to April of 2020. I've had awesome guests on: Ronnie Coleman, Toscarino, Mia Finnegan, Flex Wheeler. The list goes on and on. Linda Murray, 8-time Miss Olympia. We've had so many awesome guests. So be sure and check out the MonicaBranchShow.com website. You can go and you can donate to the show. You can be a sponsor. We have sponsor packages if you'd like to sponsor. Mac, thank you so much for your sponsorship for all the years. You've been dedicated to what I do and all the people that I bring to you, and you've always treated them like royalty. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart, who
Sure.
you are and how you take care of people. You're second to none.
Thank you, darling. It's been truly an honor to be friends with both of you guys as long as I have been. It's like sisters in a manner of speaking. It's like family.
It is like family. I agree. We all have the same heart for others, and it's fun to get to connect again. So thank you so much for joining tonight. You guys, we've just moved the show over to YouTube. So if you're seeing this for the first time, be sure and check out all the other shows. You can see them on the YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. We'll be bringing you tons of more shows coming up. I've got a whole list of great athletes and entrepreneurs and nutritionists. I've got such a great lineup the rest of this year. I'm excited for the rest of my lineup. Jules, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I mean, this is cool because when I got to talk to Jules last night, I'm like, okay, you have an Arizona number. Where are you? And she's like, Scottsdale. I'm like, me too. How cool
And
is that?
I had to miss dance.
You had to miss. Well, tell your dance people thank you.
I will.
And have them listen so they can hear all the great stuff about Egg White International.
I will, for sure.
You must go listen. Right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon on the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica Brant, your host. Thank you, Jules.
You're welcome.
International, you
Thank you,
guys.
darling.
Check it out. Go get your protein in. All right. Stay fit. Love life. We'll see you guys soon.
guys. We're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our third year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching the Tasty Pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.